So in the C1, everything, the patient talks logical, the patient talks from the earth, the patient talks from why is this? Yeah? Questioning, but everything is very rational, very lack of emotional. So you could also think of remedies like minerals, metals, sugar, saccharin, silica. Yeah. So, for example, I had a little pustules here, and I just have it, and I have no idea why, you know. Yeah. So to let the pustules come out, you can take a very low silica C9, and it will move. You know, it will dissolve. That is a very rational prescription, where it has no connection with anything. Yeah? That is what you all know. Earth life seen from the physical point of view. For the patient who comes to you and says, I have only this, can you help me with that? You could say clinical. Yeah? But clinical work brings often the patient into more classical work. It's very interesting. Yeah? That the patient says, I come here because my throat infection was better with homeopathy while I had it already for 10 years. And now I want to go into it. I want to look deeper into it. So then people use homeopathy to figure out their inner totality, their oneness, their deeper being in a way. It's opening up, yeah, the possibilities to that. So I think that level is homeopathy needs to be respected. When we go higher in the problems, do I do this right? Yeah. We go to the C2. In the C2, that means the C30. But it is still very much emotional, related to feelings, and in a way it's daily life, how we live in the day, how we normally live. Yeah, and when we have emotional problems related to our physical problems. Yeah, so in that way the C30 or the C40 will benefit, will help. But the higher they are triturated, you can understand, the higher they are triturated, you could say that the C30 well triturated to the C4 or to the C5 acts on the level of the 1M or the C200. Yeah, okay. That's just comparison.
This gives us the understanding what the C2 is, but doesn't mean to say we must triturate to the C2, we must triturate to the C4 even if we've got a problem that's happening at the C2 level. Yeah. Because it's giving you a broader... Yeah.
So if someone is stuck in the physical level, you give him a substance which is related to the emotional level, because then he started to connect it to the feelings. So someone comes with the psoriasis, without any modality, you can think about to give him a C30. And then he come back and he says, I have psoriasis and I feel very much ashamed about it. And I cry now. Yeah? So then you see that he is connecting emotionally more. He goes out of this unfeeling state to the feeling state and will feel better because he will feel more connected. Yeah? So the remedy can teach you to come into certain places with yourself. That's nice. So the higher potency, as in just normal homeopathy, also the 1M, the 10M, they can already relate to a delusional state, to thinking in good and bad, to think in opposites. Yeah? So every time when it is triturated higher, you can add some higher potency up to this. You know, a 220 should act on a level of a M or 1N. Yeah? I come back to how I do it, and then the physical combined with the emotional. For example, the patient says, I have psoriasis and it makes me weepy, crying and unstable. Yeah? So the patient is already in the emotional state and is functioning much more on the water level. Yeah? Not only the earth, but also on the water, if you want to use that kind of thinking. The carbons are going into the emotional level, oxygen, hydrogen, but mainly the plant remedies are coming in. The stalk, the stem and the leaf. So when we go to the C3, I took the example of the psoriasis again. The patient would say, I have psoriasis and I look ugly. So the delusion comes in. I look ugly, nobody wants me because I have psoriasis. Given to me, I know I am a bad person. Everybody will see, I had a patient like that, everybody will see I'm a bad person because I have all these spots. So the delusion comes in, so you need to go to much higher potencies to reach that mental problem, because that is a mental problem. You have little babies, they are totally eczema, you know. Mm-hmm. I had a baby like that, totally all, you know, overall. And he looked in the world like, here I am, no one can touch me. I'm a strong boy, no frustration at all. You see? Mm-hmm. And it was like, why should I be frustrated about my eczema? So I gave him 1 dose of sulfur and it was gone. Because he just looked like, why bother about it? You see? So sulfur has also an interesting element, because when the whole family is sulfur, that is what you often see, the whole family, I had a woman who came to me and she had eczema, very bad. Hands, arms, a girl, a young girl, she was 26 or something. So she come, I said, you're coming here, you're 26 and all your life you have this eczema? And she says, yes. And I was very young and I had eczema and there was a homeopath and she gave a remedy to my mother and she gave it to me and it was gone. I didn't have eczema for a few years, but then it all came back. I said, why didn't you go again to the doctor? She had really bad eczema, like, you know. I said, why didn't you go to the doctor? And she, so she had this eczema, a very wonderful, beautiful girl, I could see it. She was an artist. Can you imagine having eczema everywhere? I said, why didn't you go to the doctor? Oh, she says, my mother says, don't bother so much. Don't complain about your eczema. That's just all in the family. Everybody has this. We don't go. Why should we go to a doctor? Just accept it. I said, what? Yes, she says. Oh, and I said, what made you come in here now? Now you're 26, because she says, all my life the whole family said, I got asthma, the whole family said, don't bother, we all have asthma. You don't die. So they didn't go to the doctor. Her brother, sister, everybody. So anyway, I said, why are you coming now? I think it's special. And she said, well, I have a boyfriend, and my boyfriend was very, very ill, had eczema, and had a fever, and he didn't know where the fever was coming from. So the boyfriend said, can you please call a doctor? Because I have 41 degrees and I need help. And she said to the boyfriend, don't bother, that's normal, tomorrow it's over. So the boyfriend said, you don't care about me. Because that is not what you say to someone when they're sick. You need to help me, you need to call a doctor. And the boyfriend said, I doubt about our relationship because I don't think that's very loving. And then she realized that she did that all her years with her ex. That's why she came. Because the boyfriend said, please, work on yourself, lady. I'm not going to here and die from my fever, and you not asking for any help. That's why she came. So that's the whole silver attitude in the family. They say, just accept it, it's good for your path, don't bother, it's good to learn. They theorize it away, you know? Yeah. Beautiful case, beautiful. Yeah, delusion, yeah? That delusion of arrogance, the delusion, yeah? Anyway, that is when you need to work on the delusional level, what you all know. Yeah? The point is, what we know from C4 remedies is that, keep it mainly on me, because people mostly interested, they can, as long as they can follow the story, it's the best, you know? And we can send this also.